Hey YouTube, it's your girl Nadine from Beau's Corner. I know, I've been gone for a really long time. And for those of you that don't know, a lot has changed. I am now with child, have a baby boy who is currently 7 months old. I'm in grad school. We just bought a house last year. I'm also engaged, so I'm a fiance. There's just been a lot going on, and so yeah, I'm back and I'm ready to make some more hair videos and just chat with y'all, just talk. So basically what I'm gonna do today or tonight, it's about 11 o'clock here in Georgia, is do my hair for the week. So since having the baby, life has changed, and the flexibility, the ability to be able to do hair whenever I want. Obviously, it's not the case anymore, but it's got to get done. This is my self-care time. So I'm gonna do my hair, and while I'm styling it, I'm gonna go ahead and have a conversation about my COVID story, being pregnant and finding out right before I was about to deliver that I actually had COVID. Thank God everything's okay, but it was definitely a scary time when it happened. All right, so to get started, I just washed my hair. I used Trader Joe's tea tree, I think it's tea tree shampoo and conditioner. Yes, it was Trader Joe's tea tree oil, shampoo and conditioner, and then I used Mielle's. I'll try to slip a picture in for that part. Mielle's, I think it's a mask, a hair mask. And so yes, it looks crazy, but that's all right. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and just part my hair into 4. So still wet, but it's not as wet as when I came out the shower, but it's all good. So all I'm doing again is just parting my hair in 4. And ever since I went natural, this has been my regimen after I wash my hair. So I'm parting it in 4. And then I usually leave the last section out, and so all I'm gonna do right now is just go through each section. I move up a little bit so you can see, with a little bit of water. Just kind of lightly make sure that most of the strands are coated with some water. I'm actually going to take my rings off. And the product that I'm going to be using is Mielle's leave-in conditioner. It's their pomegranate and honey. Camille Rose almond jai twisting butter. I don't know if y'all can see it. And to seal everything in, this is just some olive oil from my fridge. Excuse me. This is just some olive oil from the kitchen. And then water. So I'm back. My battery just died. But yeah, like I was saying, I'm just going through each section and lightly putting in some of the leave-in conditioner. But anyway, yeah, so I pretty much had a really good pregnancy, especially with it being during a pandemic. Like, y'all, it was a lot. So at the time, like during my pregnancy, I was actually working. And when I say working, during COVID, I was actually working in the school building. So yes, we had to get up and go, COVID or not. And it actually wasn't that bad. I worked at a small private school, and basically they had their regulations. Everybody had to wear a mask. Everyone had to keep their mask on. And I think the good thing about where I was working is the fact that it was actually a really small school. So it wasn't a lot of students. In my class, I taught science. I had at the most maybe 9 kids. So it actually wasn't bad, in all honesty. But yeah, when I told the staff at my school, everyone was super supportive. Everyone really looked out for me, just making sure that everything was going well. And like I said, it was a really good pregnancy, especially for it being my first time and during a pandemic, right? So I think if I'm remembering correctly, I was supposed to take off on that Friday. So he was supposed to come on the 21st. He was supposed to come on the 21st of, my edges are growing back, by the way. But yeah, so he was supposed to come on the 21st of November. It was Tuesday, November 18th. Tuesday, November 17th that I took off. And I told my principal, like, I can't do anymore. I couldn't walk up the stairs. My pelvis was literally hurting. Like, y'all, it was scary, right? So there was like, everybody was understanding, and I went home that day. And as soon as I went home, I immediately just went into the baby's room, his nursery, and I literally just like passed out on his little couch in his room. I slept sitting up. My body was just so over it. So what I'm doing right now is I'm splitting the section, and now I'm gonna work through each section. I'm gonna take some more of the leave-in, put it in my hair, just in that particular section. And if I need more, I can always go back into it. I take this comb and I'm literally just combing through it. Just a bit of advice: when you're combing natural hair, you always want to make sure you start at the end. What I like to do though is I like to take the comb to see my ends need to be cut, so this is pretty accurate, but I like to take my comb and make sure that everything else is, the kinks are pretty much out. And once I do that, I literally grab my cream, the almond joy, and I'm going to put it in. All right, so yes, I slept sleeping upright. I was just tired. I just wanted to rest. Didn't want to see anybody, talk to anybody. Charles wasn't home at the time. Charles, he's my fiance. He wasn't home at the time. So, cool. The next day comes. I took off. So this is November 18th. I took off. So I didn't have to go to work. And now all I'm gonna do is take some of the oil and put it like so. And that's it. I'm gonna do this throughout my whole entire head, just so y'all can get it really clear. Okay, so this is what my hair looks like when it's wet. So November 18th comes and I am in my study room doing work. I was still in grad school full time and I'm trying to push through before he comes, like trying to get ahead on work. All of a sudden, I start feeling these light cramps, and they were kind of like period cramps, and I was just like, this doesn't feel like what I've felt throughout the pregnancy at all. But if this is what contractions feel like, I got this. I'll be all right. Like, we gonna push through. We got this. We got this. And this was about, I want to say 5 o'clock p.m. So I continue doing work, but what I'm realizing as time goes on, the contractions start feeling more painful, right? So I go to Charles and I'm like, yo, something ain't right. Like, I'm feeling pain. It's not hurting really bad, but something is happening. And so Charles is like, you know, just take it easy. We can't really rush to the hospital because they're probably just gonna go ahead and send us back. So I'm like talking to myself at this point, like, you know, you good, relax, like it's not killing you, just feels like period cramp. And so it just felt like my cycle was coming on. I went back, kept doing work, and I think it was about dinner time, and Charles was going to pick up some food for us to eat. And y'all, of course, when he left, it kicked in. So by the time he came back, I literally was like on my hands and my knees. I was still talking. So he was like, you good? I'm like, yeah, it just feels like cramps, blah, blah, blah. So he's like eating, I mean chomping, like going ham. And I'm like taking little itty bitty bird bites. So now all I'm gonna do is take this, literally, and wrap it. What I like to do is tuck it in so the ends don't dry out, keep that moisture, and then just put this right back here. All right, so with the story, I feel like I felt like a really sharp, I mean sharp, it must have been a sharp contraction, but then all of a sudden I felt the urge to use the bathroom, and I'm not talking pee. And at this point I'm yelling at Charles like, oh my god, I gotta use the bathroom, I gotta use the bathroom. And he's like, well, go use the bathroom. So I'm sitting down and I'm scared that if I push, something is gonna come out, but that wasn't the case. I literally just had to use the bathroom. And so once I was done, at this point I went back on my hands and knees, and I was like, Charles, I couldn't even talk. He was like, you ready to go? I was just like let's just go. Like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Let's go. And so he grabbed whatever we needed, and we left to go to the hospital. When I was in the while I was on my way there, my eyes were closed. Like, I literally could not talk. I couldn't look at nobody, nothing. All right, so we get to the hospital. They find us a room, and they lay me out. The doctor comes in to check how dilated I am. And I, at that time, was 6 centimeters dilated. And the doctor and the nurse are like, oh my god, y'all did good. Usually people are not that far along, and they usually come in, and we usually have to turn them around to go back home. So I'm like, all right, cool. But this baby though, I need y'all to get this baby out. And so the doctor was talking to Charles the whole entire time. I did tell Charles, like, I don't want to say anything when this moment comes. Like, it literally needs to be you talking to the doctors. We actually took a course with with a friend of mine. I used to be in a teaching program with her. Shout out to Chanel, because she really coached me through this whole entire process. And so my advocate was with me, Charles, and he did all the talking. I did not. Well, I was doing talking, but I was talking in tongues, like, Jesus, please, I'm sorry, I will never do this again. Like I was just talking, like, just randomness. Like, I think the people in the hospital thought I was crazy, but I'm sure they understood where I was coming from, because the amount of pain I was feeling, y'all, is just, it was unbearable, right? So they come in and they're like, okay, well, we have to do a COVID test on her. So they do the COVID test. Everything's normal before then. And then when they find out my results, they come in suited and booted up. I mean, shield, scrubs. I think somebody had on goggles, like just straight booted, like not playing. They pulled Charles, I think it was the nurse or the doctor, pulled Charles aside and was like, and that was that I had COVID. And Charles told me, but at this point, I couldn't think about nothing. Like, I was in so much pain, like nothing. And I did not want to do epidural. I wanted to be as natural as possible, and with that comes more pain, right? So once we find out, at this point they come back and check me, and I'm 8 centimeters dilated, and the doctor notices that I'm in a lot of excruciating pain, and he's like, hey, I can give you the epidural, but you have to let me know, because by 12 o'clock we cannot do this. And I think the time was about 10 o'clock, I want to say. It was about 10 o'clock. And so here's a front. I put a little red rinse in my hair if y'all can't tell. But basically, I told, and my hair is actually growing right here too. Like, I went through a lot of postpartum hair loss, but it's all good because it's growing back. So Charles, I told Charles, I prepped him. We talked about it before we went to the hospital, and I was just like, if you don't see me cry, I do not want the epidural. And so, because I was in so much pain, I could not cry. Like, I felt like if I tried to move my face in any other way, I was just gonna fall apart. Like, that's how much pain I was in. And then we had a really good nurse. She came to me. She was like from Boston, but she was like Indian, I want to say. And the doctor that I had, he was white. And so the reason why I'm saying that is because I felt like he didn't understand where I was coming from, but I think she kind of understood, like, as a black woman. She was like, no, don't get it. Like, you're far along. Like, I know you're feeling the pain right now, but once you have your baby, like, all of that is gonna go away. Like, just keep pushing. And that's the only thing that just kept me pushing. Like, all right, Nadine, you got this. Like, just keep going, keep going, keep going. And so I didn't end up getting the epidural, but once I, it was about 10:30, and he came in and he asked again, and I was just like, no, I don't want it. And Charles was like, yeah, she's good. You don't have to keep asking her. You can talk to me. So it was about 11:30, I want to say, because at this point, I was about 9 centimeters dilated, but they told me, the doctor told me, he was like, hey, you are almost 10 centimeters dilated, but your water still hasn't broke. He was like, we can wait for you to, for your water to break, and then you can start pushing, or I can break your water and then you can start pushing. And at this point I was just like, yo, break it. Like, I can't do this. And y'all, as soon as he said that, He broke my water, and all I felt was this hot, like warm sensation, and boom, I just started pushing. Nobody told me to push, I just started pushing. And they had to tell me, like, you have to wait until the contractions come to push. Like, you can't just push on your own. And so I heard them, but I didn't because I was still pushing. By this time, it was about 12 o'clock. It took 15 minutes, and he was here. So now all of that is gone. Everyone's still happy. Still couldn't believe that I had a baby. I was tired. I remember him coming out, and they put him on me, and I was just like speechless because I was just so tired. And Charles looked at me like, yo, he's here. And I was like, oh, and then like started engaging a little bit more, but I was just super tired. I didn't want to hear nothing. I just wanted to know that the baby was healthy, and I just wanted to sleep. Like, I was tired. Long story short, after the big commotion of, you know, having baby, they wheeled us to a room, and it didn't hit me that they were wheeling us to a room separate from everybody else because I had COVID. Now, Charles didn't have COVID. They tested the baby at 24 hours, and he didn't have COVID either. So I was the only one that had COVID. And so we go into the room, and the nurse comes in, and she's checking on us, I think like every 3 hours, to give me Motrin to make sure everything's okay. And so we wake up the next morning, and the nurse comes in. Ooh, that's a big part. The nurse comes in. They were super nice. I delivered my baby at Piedmont, and they were super, super, super supportive. Like, nobody treated me any different because I had COVID. They came in, and they like really like helped and monitored the baby. They gave him another COVID test, and he still was negative. Charles, now they couldn't give him one. Like, he had to go outside of the hospital to get tested because he technically wasn't a patient there, right? So we ended up staying there for 3 days. They told me I could breastfeed. They got him to latch onto my nipple and everything. Everything like worked out. Like, I was like, all right, I have COVID. It's not the end of the world. Like, I'm not feeling any symptoms really. Everything seems to be going well. Now, what I will say is, postpartum, after you have a baby, I feel like your body is kind of like out of whack, and it's trying to get itself back onto its normal regulation. I think that's the perfect word to say. And so I would go to sleep. So take the first night, for example. I went to sleep, and I would wake up in the middle of the night, and y'all, when I say I was sweating, I mean like drenched in sweat. And so that scared me because I thought it was a symptom from COVID. But when my nurse came in, she told me pretty much that it wasn't. She said that's just a symptom from postpartum, basically. And so I was nervous. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, oh my God, I'm dying. I just had a baby. Like, he needs his mommy, like all over the place. And fast forward, we leave the hospital, and the baby has to see a pediatrician in like the next 3 days. So we find a pediatrician. We let them know that I have COVID. It was like a movie. They had us go through the back way because they didn't want any COVID patients coming through the main way, which makes sense, but it was just really dramatic. The first time I actually did not go with them. They wanted Charles to come in with him, and I was like, cool, whatever. Let's just get this ball rolling. And so the pediatrician now, remember at Piedmont, they said that I could breastfeed. Like, I have antibodies in my breast milk that will help or will protect the baby from getting infected with COVID. This is what I heard at Piedmont. Now, when I go to the pediatrician, who I must say, the doctor was a black woman, she was like, no, well, I listened in on the call while Charles was there. She was like, no, you cannot breastfeed. The baby needs to stay away from you for 14 days. He's a newborn. You guys need to protect him and make sure that he's okay. And so at this point, I'm freaking out. Like, I just had a baby. All I want to do is hold him. All I want to do is be around him. But then I have this pediatrician telling me that I can't. But then the people who where I delivered the baby, they're telling me it's okay. Y'all, it was a big mess. So I now, when we go back home, am going crazy because Charles now is like, you know, you have COVID, you shouldn't really be around him. Maybe you should, you know, take time to rest, blah, 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 get yourself healed. We don't want him to get infected. And at first I was okay with it because I understood where he was coming from, right? We just had a baby. We don't know anything about this COVID stuff. So let's just sleep in separate rooms. Yep. Let's not breastfeed because that's what the pediatrician told me. She said I should not, and I'm listening to her because she's a black woman, and she sounded really serious about it. So y'all, this is what it looks like after it's been not styled but moisturized. So again, the method that I use is my leave-in, my cream, and then my oil. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna literally part it and just put it up, because after I'm done with this, I'm actually gonna go back to do some work for grad school. When I do my parts, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. I don't really worry too much about the part. So all I'm gonna do right now is just apply some more of the cream to the top. A little back action. And then some oil. And now I'm just combing it out, catching all the little balls and everything that you can see. Again, remember, my hair is growing back from still from having the baby, so bear with me. It might not be the most perfect, but we're gonna get somewhere. So yeah, we're sleeping in separate rooms. I'm not breastfeeding. Charles wasn't even allowing me to like hold him too close for too long because he was just terrified. We're both like just terrified, right? And so I think by the third day I was just over it. I was like, I can't do this. I gave birth to him. He ain't got COVID yet. Like, I have to hold my baby. Like, I need to hold my baby. So I'm not using oil in my hair because one thing that I've been noticing is with the oil, my hair has become, it just gets more flakier by the end of the week. And with the baby, I don't have time to just be styling all the time. But pretty much by the third day, I was over it. I said, I can't do this. And Charles and I went back and forth for a little bit, but when he saw, like, I was really, all I'm doing right now is just taking it and just making sure that I have all of the hair. So it's not going to be perfect right now. I'm just grabbing everything. But I think he saw like I was really serious. Like I could not go another day without like trying to like bond and be close with my baby. He gave me the baby and I held him, but you could tell in Charles's face like he was still a little like nervous. He was scared, right? And I get it. He was just trying to protect the baby, but at the same time, mommy needs the loving too. Like I carried you for 9 months. There's no way that I can't have quality time with you because of COVID. Like I just couldn't. So basically, even with COVID, so the pediatrician initially said that I should be away from him for 10 days. By the 10th day, I went to go get tested, and this time my test result came back negative. Now, something that I will say when I went to go get retested was that the doctor that tested me said that there have been some people who actually have gotten tested and were found positive, but there are a lot of false positives test results. And so I don't know if that was the case with me, because for the most part I didn't really feel any different, like, and maybe I was asymptomatic, I don't know, but I didn't feel any symptoms from being or having COVID. But there's still a safety issue even if you don't have the symptoms, right? You can still spread it to other people. And it was just really a sad time, y'all. Like, people could not come over like how they wanted to. When I was around the baby, I had to wear a mask. Like, I couldn't really even breathe on him. I breastfed some days I didn't, because Charles and I, again, we were going back and forth. Like, we didn't know what to do. Like, we didn't know if it was the right thing. Like, nobody knew anything. And so I hit up Chanel, the one who like walked me through the whole entire birthing process. Not the whole entire, but she literally helped me learn how to advocate for myself in the hospital. And I told her what was going on, and she just pretty much told me like, yo, do what you feel is right for you and your baby, right? People are gonna tell you a whole bunch of things, but at the end of the day, you feel how you feel, and that's your child. So do what you have to do for your child. And so I took that and I just felt empowered. Like, this is my baby. I just had him. He's my first. Sidebar. This right here, y'all, my hair matted up so bad after having the baby. It literally turned into a dreadlock. And so I ended up having to cut it. So when I do my hair now, it pops up, but I have to lay it down with my head tie and it kind of goes away. It'll lay flat. So this is what my hair is looking like. What I'm gonna do in the morning is get up, put some clothes on, and show you guys what it looks like. Once I'm done with this, I usually put my head tie on and I keep it on until whenever, if I'm getting ready and then I go out, then I take it off. But it's nighttime, I'm not going anywhere, but I do want to make sure that I'm good so I don't have to worry about doing my hair in the morning. But yeah, it was a really depressing time. It was a really bad experience for it being my first time. But I really hope that this video like can help anybody that's going through the situation, because it's not fun. Literally, I felt like a person that was diseased. As soon as I said that I had COVID at the pediatrician, when we first called to come in, and like the whole protocol for coming in and things like that, it was a lot. It was a lot. I'm not even gonna lie. But I am grateful that I am here, still alive. My family is okay. The baby he's doing his own thing. Dad is happy. But yeah, I think we may film a part 2 together, so you can get Charles's side of what happened, and what was going through his brain with this whole COVID experience. And we can just kind of go back and forth so you guys can see how Dad felt as opposed to Mom. But yeah, if you are somebody out there that has COVID and you are going through it, especially if you're pregnant, just know that there is hope. Be hopeful and just give yourself grace. You have a lot of things going on. You're processing having a baby, especially if you're a first-time mom, right? You're processing having a baby. You're processing like your body changing, your mind changing, everything around you is changing. So yeah, it was great chatting with you guys, and I will see y'all later. Peace. So just before I go, I want to show y'all what I do when I wear my hair in this style and I need it to be flattened. It's literally tie it up, and that's about it. Now I have this part here. Just take the leftover and tuck it in, and that's it. Good to go. All right, y'all, it was nice chatting with y'all. I will see you guys in the next video. There will be a part 2 with Daddy involved, where we're talking about his perspective, and see y'all later. Have a good one. Have a great night. So hey guys, I just quickly wanted to come on here to show you guys the final result of my hair. I think it turned out pretty good. Again, this is a very low maintenance hairstyle. So if you are a mom who's on the go, constantly are doing things, and you just don't have the time, I think this hairstyle is simply the best. So give y'all some sun action. You see the little waves going. All I did, and I'm sorry, I have my son here with me. He's learning to crawl now, so we are all over the place. But yeah, you want to make sure, over here buddy, you want to make sure, all I did when I took off my head tie was I puffed out my puff because it was really flat in the back. I tend to sleep on my back more so than anything. And then I did put just a little bit of gel on the sides and like on the top part, just so all my flyaways would stay down. Again, I do recommend, for my hair type at least, and I don't know if this is a part of pregnancy and my hair is changing, I can't really use too much gel because by the end of the week my hair is super flaky, and it's just something I don't want to deal with. So yeah, this is what it looks like. And to any moms who is, first of all, especially if you're a first-time mom, and you're going, or you have found out that you have COVID, I'm here to tell you just to stay calm. Stay calm. There is hope, there is faith. Just before I got on here, I did look at the CDC website, and they do provide a ton of guidelines and precautions that you can take just so that you keep yourself safe, but also your baby, your family. So yeah, just take it one day at a time, and just like I did, trust me, you will get through it too. But yeah, that's all. If you guys enjoyed this video, please go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna go ahead and get this little one entertained. because he's a little fussy. You want to tell everybody hi? You want to say hi? No, you're not in the mood? You're not in the mood? But again, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions that you want to ask me, feel free to leave them down in the comments section, and I can help you, provide you resources. Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse. I can only give you what I've been through and the experiences that I had and how I overcame it. So yeah, talk to you guys later. Say bye, Papa. Bye. You gonna say bye? Say bye.